Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Pat and today I'm going to show you how I cleaned and fixed this adorable couple. They're actually the first Sylvanian families that I actually bought, and their story it's pretty interesting because as a newbie I thought they were part of the milk or periwinkle, depending on the country, rabbit family. But actually, they are the Honeydew family. They're a couple, and they're called Hugo and Hermione. That's adorable. And they were first released back in 2005, if I made my research well. And they actually came with a set that was called Wedding Chapel, and it was made of an ivory chapel with this blue roof and other accessories. As you can see, is adorable. I've also seen a few pictures on Vinted, but it's really expensive. Anyway, I found them on Vinted and I totally fell in love and I had to get them. You can see that they are in good conditions. There is not much work to do, but there are some items missing. For example, I do not have the flower bouquet and I don't have the wedding veil of the bride. And I'm also missing the groom's jacket, and I thought about making it from scratch, but unfortunately after so many months I still haven't found a fabric that is exactly like his pants. I know maybe I'm a bit of a perfectionist, but I'm sure I will find something in the future. We also have this sticker on the bride's leg, and it was written like 1985, but it's not from 1985. After all these months collecting them, I assume that they used to print the sticker for a little bit longer, like as a copyright. I think that using the exact here, it's something that we started to do in the last maybe 10 years. It was very common that you could find the here when a brand was born and not the year when the product was made. So yeah, this set is definitely from 2005, or sometimes I found 2006, and it was released in the UK, maybe also in Japan, but in different ways. Anyway, I'm pretty sure this one is the one from the UK or Europe in general. So these lovely beauties now are ready to be cleaned. I'm taking off the clothes and you can see they're yellow and I can't wait to make them super bright. And they also have lots of, the fabric threads. I need to cut them off. Also, the bride does not have the pom-pom anymore, so I have to glue a new one. And I also have to be very careful with the sticker. I really care about preserving the stickers as much as possible. You can see also many stains. I think it's just, the passing of the years. Nothing too bad, or it's not a bad stain, if that makes sense. And I'm starting with them. So I'm using the usual degreaser. I use it in every process. If you're new to this channel, it's just a universal degreaser, the ones that you use for everything, and that is recommended also for clothes and removing bad stains. I'm spraying it all over them and I'm leaving it there for as long as possible because the stains are a bit heavy in this case. Meanwhile, I'm preparing some hot water. I usually go for 40 to 60 degrees, not more. When I'm working with white things. Otherwise, if it's colored, I'm a little bit more like around 40 degrees. I'm sorry, I don't know the Fahrenheits. Anyway, I'm just adding the usual soap that you will use for your clothes, and I'm leaving it there so that I'm pretty sure that the stain will be defeated. While I left them there, I'm taking care of the babies. So I'm preparing in a little bowl, like the ones you use for your breakfast. I'm prepping this, let's say, lotion. I don't know, it's just water with super delicate soap. I usually use the one for intimate parts because it's pretty delicate. And you can see that they're dirty. I've seen worse for sure, but they are dirty for sure. So they still have lots of dust. Despite I used a paper tape. Actually, I'm remembering that this was a test and I did not use the tape in this case. So I just went straight to wash them. And honestly, the result was different. It's where I learned that the paper tape step is very, very important. So yeah, I keep rubbing them and be very gentle. And eventually I had to use the paper tape after I washed them because, as you can see, it's visible on video, they were really dusty. And the water alone does not take off all of the dust. This is what they taught me. I used a little piece of, the food plastic you have in the kitchen, I guess, to preserve your food. I use a piece of that around the leg of the bride because I wanted to preserve the sticker. And, you've seen the other processes and I stopped doing this, but I would highly recommend it. And after I rinsed them, I just used a white towel. It's really important that it's white. I always say this thing because the fibers, if you have colored fibers, the risk is that you pass all of the colored fibers into the rabbits. So yeah, I just pat them very gently and I left them dry, I think, overnight, because at the time it should have been maybe February, I guess. So yeah, it was definitely cold outside. And I removed the plastic because if you leave the plastic when something is humid, that will be a big problem later. The risk was that I will find the sticker completely destroyed. So yeah, definitely remember if you're using the plastic to remove it if there is something humid close to it. And here I'm showing that the dust is still there. Big part of the dust is still there. Now checking off the clothes, they are beautiful. They are super cleaned. I'm super happy. I couldn't ask for more. So I rinsed everything. I also left them close to their rabbits and I left them dry overnight as well. The next day they were, not perfect for sure, but they were definitely better. As I was saying before, here is me using the paper tape because yes, they were still very dusty, so they needed a step of paper tape. And now I'm fixing the clothes. So I want to cut off all of this fabric that created all of these vacant threads. And so I need to cut them off because also because they're very disturbing. And finally it was time to create a bride veil because I had pictures of the original set. And I think the bride veil was really important, in the bigger picture. So I decided to create one. And Unfortunately, I didn't have a lace that was super similar to the original, but I did have some lace, so I just used that. If you already seen some of my videos, you know that I go pretty much like instinctively. I'm not someone who takes too long or too much time to do something because I get bored super fast. So I just took the lace and put it on top of her head and just, build everything from that. I will be a liar if I told you that I do everything like with patterns or stuff like that. Then I sewed everything together and that's it. Now that I'm satisfied with the result, I want to fix this, the last things that I need to fix. So I need to glue a new pom-pom to the bride. And they have some, it's like brown, black areas of dirt. And I don't know what kind of dirt is. Anyway, I want to fix that too. So firstly, I'm gluing the pom-pom, cutting off this thing that is pretty much disturbing, and I glue the new one. And here I'm going to add new flock in these darker areas that they have in their ears. So very gently I'm trying to add it. In retrospect, I actually regretted that decision because it's like this flock is a bit too lighter, but it's okay. I mean, it's not terrible. Also, I might take it off anytime. And now that I'm happy with the result, I'm dressing them up again. So here we have the beautiful bride. Yay! And the pom-pom is a bit too big. But it was exactly the same size as the usual one. So maybe I know why there wasn't a pom-pom anymore, because it was probably on the way. And the bride veil. Oh, so cute. She's adorable. I'm also pretty sure that I'm going to make a new one, because after a while, I think a few weeks, I actually found a lace that it's basically the same, if I'm not wrong. I have to check it, but I think it's almost the same. So I'm definitely going to try again and make something that it's like the original. I also found the jacket of this one, but the problem is that I found it on Vinted from a person that is not selling the jacket. She's selling the wedding set, but they're not these ones. It's another wedding set where bride and groom have other clothes, and the jacket is from this set. So I honestly do not want to spend a lot of money for a jacket. So the idea is still to find a similar fabric and do it myself. So this is the final result. Look at them. They're absolutely beautiful. I love them so much. And I don't know why, but they make me feel like I wish they were like human size and hug them strongly, because they're communicating love, affection, understanding. I am sure they're beautiful bunnies inside and out. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I hope you had a good time and that I kept you company. See you soon. Have a good day. Bye bye.